I always say, when you move to a new place and there's a train track next to you, and first week you cannot sleep, and week 5 you cannot even hear it anymore, and your friends come over, like, how can you live here? And you're like, what are you talking about? But the train, like, oh, I don't even hear it anymore. So follow, comment, share, subscribe doesn't work. You need to give people a reason. Pick one and give people a reason.
Hi, Deanna. How are you doing, my friend?
Hi. Hello. I'm doing good. I'm this close to creating a jingle for marketing in the raw. I love a jingle. It's my favorite thing. And I think marketing in the raw might need one.
You've got me about to put you on the spot. Do you have an idea of how it would go yet?
It's not ready. If we get 30 new subscribers, I'm dropping it.
That's it, huh? That should be.
That's all I need. I'll be ready in a week.
Enough. How will anybody know that, we go to the next episode and you're just like, oh yeah, we didn't get 30 new subscribers at all, and we had, hundreds or something of new subscribers. It's like signing up for a sweepstakes and nobody truly wins the car in the end. Or maybe we actually dodge a bullet depending on how this jingle would come out.
Honestly, yeah.
Well, you got me thinking, like we talk about jingle, we might have to turn that into like a little TikTok or something and test the waters. Are you a peruser of TikTok at all?
Oh, it's a slippery slope. I have to have strict boundaries, but yes, love it.
It's definitely a bit of a dopamine hit, and it's so interesting because it's not the first place where short form video has lived on socials, but they do some things differently there that just caught on differently and kind of gets stuff that you're interested in right in front of you. The algorithm is pretty cool. The trends, the other stuff that they do kind of broke the mold on some of the previous formats for doing short form video. Is there like a favorite creator or two that you like, or like topic that you pay attention to on TikTok?
Well, I love a recipe video because I think it's super satisfying, and I love to cook and I love to eat. So I love that. And I've actually made a few things that I've seen on there. Anything, puppies. I'm into mom hacks, stuff like that. There's all kinds of good gems. Mom hacks.
I'll be honest. For me, there is things like related to parenting, like dealing my super energetic, strong-willed son. There's, lots of great videos that dive into some of these different areas of parenting or being able to keep yourself calm as a parent. No kidding. And then it's so interesting how, depending on the topic at hand, right? When something happens that might be political, or something happens that's related to, a string of cool movies coming out for the summer, or another one, like you said, parenting or food or whatever, that if you just kind of inch a little bit too far in the direction of one of those topics, how much more of your feed is filled with that kind of stuff. Which is both
cannibalization happens quickly.
Yeah, of your attention. And so this episode actually is going to be talking about short form video. And I'm sure there's already a bunch of marketers like tuning out, and they're like, TikTok, I don't even want to hear about TikTok or YouTube Reels. And, everybody's still always talking about like, oh, that just means I got to dance on a video and everything. When I think that trend, the lion's share of videos is not people dancing any longer. But I think they'd be interested in hearing about what's going on in like B2B, the B2B space, in regards to short form video. I think before we started recording, you were reminding me of what I had shared on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn right now is starting to experiment, and is likely going to fully lean in and embrace the broader amplification of short form video on their platform, right?
Mhm. Yes, sir.
And so some of what's been happening is on LinkedIn, more and more folks on LinkedIn are acting like creators, and they're producing video because it's supported on there, short form video on LinkedIn, and it's getting much more attention and is a highly preferred way of consuming content on LinkedIn. And because you couple that with again this creator movement that's going on, where folks are utilizing all these different platforms to create content, get attention, share who they are, what's on their mind, all that sort of stuff. You pair that with the trend for zero-click content, which we talk about also a lot, where that content, social media content especially, is preferred to be in network, meaning that gone are the days of consistently sharing content that is just basically a link to elsewhere on the web. Hey, come watch my video here on YouTube or on our website, or click to read this blog post and so on. And the preference is that the content stays on a particular network, right? So that's happened on Facebook, that has had a preference for keeping folks on the website. Twitter, pretty much anywhere these days is going to want to keep folks preferably on the network. And so video is perfect for that. It keeps people engaged for quite a while as they're watching the video. It's easy to engage with versus the text content and so on. And LinkedIn has said that year over year, video content has been growing by the views of video content on LinkedIn. It is growing 50% year over year continuously. And that they expect that trend to continue all the way through to 2024. And so specifically what LinkedIn is doing is they have launched sort of a beta version of like a video feed. It's almost like a TikTok or YouTube Reels or Shorts, for LinkedIn. And so you might already see it, where at the bottom of your feed, you see a little video button. And when you go there, it's sort of aggregating all of the short form videos, or many of the short form videos that people are publishing on LinkedIn. And I did a little bit of a analysis of it based on the minimal stuff that was available. I'm in the beta. There's a handful of other folks that are in the beta, just to see, well, like, who do they prefer in how can you affect the algorithm? And right now it seems like most of the content is coming from highly followed publications. So when I say publications, like literally media publications, such as, like the New York Times or TechCrunch or something like that. But as well as like influencers, so authors and people that a lot of folks are following on LinkedIn. But in addition to that, between all of that, they're also sharing regular videos that are coming from people who have, it seems the recency is within the last 24 hours, that video is being inserted into kind of the flow of things. And you can get in there and you can just flip through and watch a video and then swipe, and just like you would do on like, TikTok or whatever. What do you think about that, Deanna? Like, do you have it on your LinkedIn mobile app yet?
I do. And so I also have it on my Amazon shopping app. I've noticed recently short form video feed at the bottom, and yeah, it's easy to consume. It's like you said, get those dopamine hits. It's that ideally high value short form video. I think that's the part that LinkedIn needs to work out the kinks, is maybe the high value part, or what the source is of these videos. So, I don't only want to see influencers. I want to see everyday people like me. I want to be able to relate to the people I'm seeing on my feed. So I think they've got some work to do, but they'll get there.
Yeah, and that's why they have it as a beta. I think I agree with you, especially in a professional context, being able to keep it I would say not to keep it professional. Professional is not the right way of saying it, but just to make sure that the quality it's not turning into fast food content.
Right, like entertainment. It's value.
Entertainment and all that. I mean, there's definitely room for people in marketing. I firmly believe there's room for people in marketing to be entertaining in the sense of edutainment, right? So education, entertainment, like don't make it boring. It's that simple. Right. Don't make it boring. But we're definitely not looking for folks to share, again, doing it all dancing and stuff like people's interpretation is like on TikTok. No. But you'd be amazed when you see the videos of just how informative and educational and interesting and engaging most of the videos are. And so with that said, I want to be able to introduce our guest for this episode. His name is Aaron Soghi. I know that he tells me the right way to say it on the podcast, on the interview that we do. So forgive me, Aaron, if I mispronounce it. But Aaron is incredible. And in fact, I found him on TikTok. TikTok is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. And I found him a few years ago on TikTok. And he's just engaging, really great at what he shares. He is incredible in producing short form video and helping people understand how to use short form video. And I think that the lessons that he shares transcend just TikTok, because beyond TikTok, right, we do have short form video on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube and elsewhere. So there's a whole space for consuming these shorter bite-sized videos that I think is ripe for the taking for folks to get in there and engage with customers and talk to them and let them get to know them through those short form videos. So Aaron's on a mission fueled by passion and his deep-rooted desire to make a significant impact. From his early days in the film industry, which was really amazing to hear. I didn't know that he had worked in the film industry. He's a pretty young guy. And so from going from the film industry to his status as a TikTok influencer and really educator, as far as I'm concerned, his wealth of knowledge and insights on how to create content that resonates and engages is incredible. I didn't want to stop the interview because I was learning so much being on the call with him, and I had to let him go at some point, and he was willing to kind of give it all and put it all out there. And so I'm really excited for folks to listen to this. We get to talk about his creative process, discover his secrets to growing an audience on TikTok, which again, I believe transcends into other areas as well. And we delve into how like limitations in the tools that you use and other things can serve as a powerful catalyst for creativity. I'm super excited for you all to listen to this podcast. I think it'll inspire you to be more creative and produce a bunch of short form content that you might have had a little bit of creator's block before or thought it was all about dancing. But I think Aaron proves us wrong in expanding our knowledge around the short form video. Take a listen to my interview with Aaron Soghi. Aaron, so good to have you. And so everybody can pronounce the last name well, because you've got that awesome little accent on it. Before I hit record, I was already practicing it, and I know you've probably had people ask you this a million times, and so you had a way to teach me to do it, and I've already screwed it up in my brain. So how do we pronounce your last name?
So it's Aaron Soghi.
Aaron Soghi. And you said it's like saying surgery, just the beginning of the way that the S rolls off there.
Yes.
So, okay. By the end of listening to this, we'll get the audience to just be saying that name over and over and over again as they practice it for it. So good to have you. It's interesting because in this podcast, I've talked to lots of folks that I know out in the marketing space. Some of them friends of mine, some of them folks that I really admire, but have followed for years. And this year, I made a point where I want to talk to some folks that I think are outside of that bubble of the regular marketing crowd, and have been doing a great job of growing their following and sort of engaging audiences in just a different way outside of that bubble that I was talking about. You do some incredible short form videos that I'd say I want to dig into your process a little bit and about what gets you there. But you do these incredible short form, very creative videos. You know, creators in general tend to gravitate towards some medium first. If they're great writers, they go and they start, you know, writing a blog or exploring that route. You got photographers and folks doing, you know, static images and you know, either doing like their Behance stuff or doing photography, Instagram, and that. You seem like a natural in video. Why is video your medium of choice?
That's very interesting. I think we all have the superpower, and I'm very fortunate that my passion is my profession. So I worked 13 years in the film industry in London on set. So I worked on maybe 900 different film productions. That includes music videos, commercials, fashion, movies, like cinema movies. So I had a chance to see the whole spectrum of different type of video creation. And because it's my childhood passion, I was 12 years old when I started making my own videos. I've seen the no budget passion project to being the highest budget, and you've got the big studios expectations that you need to deliver a certain quality. Or I also had the chance to work on an Apple commercial, like they have incredible standards there. And because they have the money, they didn't say no to anything. You really need to deliver. So, you know, it's anything that you practice on a daily basis that you love and passionate about. Inevitably, you're going to pick up a few things along the way that is going to make you really outstanding in that area. And for me, it happens to be videos. I love it. I experience a slight sense of depression if I'm not making a video for a few weeks. Like now I was traveling for 2 weeks and I haven't actually created and output a video. And my father is in theater, and as a child he was explaining to me this desire to create. And my mom is a graphic designer, and she also had this unexplainable just desire to create something. And for me, it manifests in the form of videos.
That's incredible, and I love how you're talking about this desire to create, because my background initially is in design before I ever became a quote unquote marketer, right? And I'm running a digital marketing agency right now. But there's definitely this. I have this conversation often with folks around me about what I would do if I had more time, or what I might do if I, you know, retire or something like that. And it really always goes back to just being able to spend more time creating, especially these days. I'm not sure how old you are. Me being a guy in my 40s, creating has never been easier, obviously, than now with all of the tools, and not only easier to just create, whether it's music or graphics, or obviously we have generative AI and stuff, which I hope we can touch on in a second as well. But we have almost instant gratification towards sharing that creation with a crowd, with the people that are, you know, following us, or as we grow that following eventually. Like, how does any part of that have anything to do with like your choice, I mean, to produce this and put it out on things like TikTok, where you're highly successful and you're very engaging in your video? You could have just gone and put up, you know, maybe you could do some music videos or some small films or something like that, but you're creating stuff that at least production wise looks like it's done on a mobile device. And I know you share a lot of tips related to editing on a mobile device, and even shooting it and being creative on a mobile device, and utilizing tools that are mobile first, you know, applications and things like that in order to make things more creative. You could have done those bigger productions, it sounds like, or you could have dipped your toes in the water over there doing that sort of stuff. Why mobile video? And, you know, what's in it for you there?
That's interesting and great question. And I would say it sounds like an oxymoron, but limitations is freedom. Because I give myself on purpose limitations that it has to be done with a phone. It has to be done with cheap and free apps, because then I get to inspire a lot of people that the way I get to that interesting, engaging, creative video is by being creative, by looking at opportunities. And okay, I don't have access to that tool because it's expensive or complicated, but how can I achieve a similar result that is outstanding? Because I want to inspire solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and small business owners to wake up to the fact that you are sitting on what's in your pocket or in your hand, a smartphone that is a film studio now. You can record, edit, and post videos from there. And luckily, with the rise of short form vertical videos, the production standards drastically dropped, because your video just needs to look good enough on a small, tiny device. If it's for YouTube, landscape, long form video, and somebody's looking at it on a large iMac, you better have great video quality. But for short form, you get away with a lot less. And every single year, we're getting better and better video quality from there. So why am I not working on the big productions? I've been fortunate enough to work on some major films. And when I made the decision to go and make short videos for TikTok, that time I was offered to work on a Marvel movie, and I turned it down.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people ask, well, like, why the F would you do that?
Why the F would you do that,
And the reason for that is because I was brought to tears by a few documentaries for what we're doing to this planet. The plastic in the ocean, the animals are choking on it every single day. It's so much unnecessary suffering that we're inflicting on this planet, cutting down the trees, polluting it. And everybody that I know says, yeah, I wish I could do something about it. And I had that thought in my head, and I realized, Aaron, you are in such a fortunate position, because your passion, all you have to do is just make videos about different topics. So I was heading for an Oscar. I wanted to win an Oscar as a cinematographer. That was my dream as I was 12 years old, and from the age of 17 till 28, that was my goal. Every day I woke up and I was working every day because I'm winning an Oscar one day. And I realized that by the time I get there, we may not have a functioning planet. So I decided to save up some money and quit. And then I need to create first an educational business to replace my income, because I was in the way I was making money is I go to work on a film set for a day, I get paid for that day. Great money, but you still have to go there. So I needed to find a way to replace that income. And because I love making videos and I'm passionate about helping people, it was inevitable that I'm just going to make a business around this. Now, at the time when I quit, I was searching around. If you don't have any online presence, what's the best platform right now where you get unfair amount of attention? And at the time, it was TikTok. I was listening to Gary Vee. I just came back from his conference. I was out in the US in Indianapolis. But 2 years ago, Gary said, TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. I said, okay, let me do the way I think it works best, is that you dominate one platform, then you branch out. Because most people are branching out because you need to be everywhere, but then you're average everywhere because you're spreading yourself too thin. So I said, let me dominate TikTok, then I'll worry about the other platforms. Now, the two reasons why I picked short form videos or vertical, one is because I thought the easiest way for me to monetize this is if I have a huge audience. Initially, I wanted to make a lighting course for beginner videographers. But then I thought that's not a big pool of people. But if it's how to make better videos with the smartphone that is sitting in everyone's pocket, and now with short videos, you can easily make videos for your business. I thought all of a sudden, I can have a huge audience. It's going to be much easier to monetize in the future. That's one thing. Second is I realized the power of a personal brand. And because my mission is by 2050 to clean the oceans of plastic, I thought if I become an influential person, I'm going to be able to have more options to really drive change. Now, for that, I need to become outstanding in something that a lot of people know about. right? So I was thinking, you think of Google, Amazon, Facebook, Uber, these are tools that people are using on a daily basis, right? So you need, if you want to be in front of millions of people, you need to be talking about, and you need to be outstanding in something that a lot of people care about or relate to. So I thought it's a no-brainer right now that people are caring about short form videos for their business. It's easy. And I thought if I can dominate that and build a huge following and be known as the guy who helps you to make video impact, then I can go, which is where I'm heading now, is to make videos for the organizations who are working on systemic change for cleaning the oceans of plastic, or the whole plastic challenge that we have right now, protecting the trees, protecting animals. That was why I picked it, because it gives me a chance, A, to monetize, B, to build that personal brand where I can build 1, 2, 3 million followers, and all of a sudden I'm a guest speaker on a podcast, I'm a guest speaker on stage. And then you become known and you share your story, you share why you're doing it, and then you're able to make a bigger influence. Because now I make a video about, let's say I want to raise money for cleaning the oceans of plastic, because that's my passion. If you have 1 million followers, it's much easier to raise money, not just by $1 from everyone, but out of that 1 million people, you may have 3 or 4 people who would be responsible for all the money you raised, because they are super wealthy and they're passionate, and they see somebody who's I'm putting myself out there, I'm putting my face out there. So I know in the future that can lead to some unwanted consequences, and there are people who want to make a change, but they're not visible. So they want to support people who are willing to be visible. Long answer.
No, that's incredible. That's great. I mean, there's so many things wrapped up in there, right? You talk about building attention and trust first, and you described essentially what most businesses, most marketers within those businesses want to do, right? They want to eventually build enough influence and trust with an audience that they can drive them or influence to compel them to take action. In your case, it's taking action related to the plastics and everything, which is incredible. But it's not very different than any of the businesses out there that are looking to drive somebody to eventually buy a product or hire them, or, get a course or something like that, right?
Yeah. So my brand right now is Vimpa. That's what I'm working on, which is video impact. And I want to become known as the guy who helps you to make impactful videos for whatever you're passionate about. You may be passionate about helping people with marketing. Someone else is passionate about helping people with health or overcoming abuse. Whatever it is, I'm going to help you to make videos to make a bigger impact. When it comes to what videos I'm making, that I'm transitioning to, is going to be related about plastic in the oceans, or helping humanity to raise the consciousness level, because that's what I always explain to people. You can go and help an alcoholic to tidy up the apartment and clean up. You come back a week later, it's going to be the same problem. So we need to work on, starting with myself, is to raising humanity's consciousness level to more caring, and realizing that more caring is going to make us more money, more happiness, more wealth, more peace. It just sounds too cheesy to be true, but you need people to shout loud about this, so we start having at least conversations about it.
That's incredible. You also talked about your approach to selecting one channel, in this case TikTok, and then sort of expanding from there. Do you find that most folks, that's pretty common, that most folks are trying to sort of dominate on everything? I mean, even when they're repurposing content, right? Like nowadays, there's short form is across multiple channels, but there's still nuances to each of the individual channels. And if you can pay attention to one versus all, you can tend to utilize those nuances. There are people and communities within those areas that behave and act differently. What's been your experience in working with people on maybe they've already selected TikTok, or maybe they've selected TikTok in addition to saying, yeah, but I want to do all these other channels as well? What kind of conversation do you have with them?
Absolutely. So there are different approaches, whether you already have an online presence and a bunch of followers, and if you're starting out fresh. If you're starting out fresh, you want to see where is the biggest free attention. it used to be TikTok a year ago, and now it's maybe YouTube Shorts or maybe Facebook Reels is where you want to focus on if you're starting out. But if you already have a large following on Instagram or on TikTok, you still want to put a lot of your time in there and start making videos for these other platforms. And you need to understand what is your current situation when it comes to time and money, because you may not have a lot of money to pay for an editor and pay for a marketing team, so you have to do all the work. In that case, it's better to put all your energy just into one platform, in my experience, and become outstanding there. Because once I am known on TikTok, it doesn't matter if I'm not on Instagram or all these other platforms, because let's say you go on other platforms, but you already know about me and you see that I'm outstanding there. That created that authority position for me. That's important. Then, of course, playing the long game, you need to diversify, because what's going to happen with most platforms is they will go through a decline, which can be temporary or it can be permanent. So if TikTok declines and that's where everything is going in for me, then it's a dangerous long-term strategy to play. But short-term, focusing on one platform, then diversifying to other platforms. Now, as you said, there are nuances to different platforms. There seem to be a certain type of videos that work, I made this word up the other day, omniversally, meaning on every single platform it works, like a podcast repurposed video. I see those on YouTube Shorts, I see them on Instagram Reels, I see them on TikTok, I see them everywhere. So that kind of video works. And it's a great video to make because you've got a 1 hour podcast out of it. You can have a 1 hour YouTube video or chop it into 5-10 minute YouTube videos, and you can have a ton of clips from there. So it's a great use of your time. Now, the strategy that I am suggesting to my clients who want to post on every platform is to pick at least 3 types of videos. 3 types of videos. And understand that one of those 3 is going to outperform the other 2 on a specific platform. I'll give you an example. So a skit video is when you're playing 2 characters back and forth. It does amazingly well on TikTok. I don't think I've ever seen one on Instagram, and I don't think I've ever seen one on YouTube Shorts. Now, that can be one of your videos, and you can post it on Instagram and YouTube Shorts, but you know that it's going to probably perform best on TikTok. Now, when it comes to lifestyle videos, great shots of you working in the office, traveling, flying, hotels, and then there is a motivational style narration going on. It's just a narration and some text. That seemed to work best on Instagram. But it can work on TikTok too. So that could be your second type of video you make. And you still post it on all 3 channels, but it's likely to be on Instagram that performs well. Then the educational videos of you sitting, educating, and you've got some B-roll coming in, that seem to work best on YouTube Shorts and also on TikTok. So now you have 3 types of videos you can be making and posting on all these channels. That gives you the chance that at least one of those is optimized for that channel. So you're gonna get a high return from there. Because if you're just making skit videos and you're posting it on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, you may get just a couple hundred views. So if you want to be omnipresent, that may actually be a word, then the strategy that I would suggest is having at least one of your content pillars as the video that performs well on TikTok, one that performs well on Instagram, one that performs well on YouTube Shorts.
Why not if skits work best on TikTok and the lifestyle stuff works best on Instagram, why not just post those videos on that channel and those videos on that channel instead of on all?
Great question. There is no guarantee that it won't perform well. So you may not be posting it because you think it's not going to perform well, and you post 10 of those, and then they get 200 views, and number 10 gets 1 million for no good reason. It just pops. So you never know who is watching and who is on which platform. And let's say you have my generation or perhaps your generation. We are more Instagram. We spend more time growing up on Instagram. Not growing up, but you know what I mean? Like the first short vertical video platform was Instagram for us, Instagram Reels, right? So if you're used to what you see on that feed, and now you say, okay, I better take TikTok seriously or I'm going to go on TikTok because now it's here to stay. It's no longer something to be ridiculed and dance videos for girls. Now you go over, but your consumer behavior is still Instagram Reels while you are on TikTok. So if you engage with those videos on TikTok, TikTok will show you more of those, and your TikTok For You feed will look a lot more like an Instagram Reel feed. Because what TikTok is great at is really understanding you, seeing what you engage with, and putting that content in front of you. There is no, at this moment, it's slightly changing now, but there is no agenda of, I think we can push this person more towards the fashion products or the fitness products or the travel products, right? If you look at the home feed or the search, there's a search feed on Instagram. It's not really the kind of content that you want to watch. It's the kind of content that the algorithm thinks that you're the closest that we can influence you to buy something from that major category of sport, fashion, travel, like those topics.
How important is frequency?
That's a very often asked question from me, and I like to fully understand a person's situation. The example I normally give here is Zach King. He's got 72 million followers on TikTok, and he posts one video every 10 days. It takes a lot of effort and a team to make those videos. But
a lot of what he's done has really started as having a presence elsewhere, and then ultimately migrating a lot of that over, right? As far as his longer videos on YouTube that he ended up, having. So just like you said, it's a unique scenario where somebody like a lot of these folks that were on Vine previously, before Vine actually completely went away, they worked out quite well moving over to both TikTok and over to Instagram, because they already had installed followers. Going over to YouTube was a little bit harder because they were going from essentially 6-second videos to trying to do something in a format that was predominantly long form, at least a few minutes and greater. So in that particular case, Zach has that advantage. But if we were to look at something like, you're talking about those 3 different videos or those 3 different styles of videos and how they might hit or miss across all of those different platforms. How often, let's say you had those 3 videos, how often would you produce a video for somebody who's starting off with a very small audience or just fresh?
As many as you can. And what I like to do for example, in my mentorship program is we do what is called a sprint week. So we have 3 weeks of, okay, you commit to 1 video a day, great. And sprint week is, okay, 3 videos a day. Because then your brain goes, there is no way I can do this. Because you're thinking that the kind of videos that I'm making, there is no way I can make 3 of those because it takes so much time. But if you must make 3 videos, now you have to start thinking more creatively. And you realize, hang on a minute, what if I just recorded 3 different hooks and the rest of the video was the same? And I can post one today, I can post one 3 days from now, I can post one 3 days later. And one of them is gonna get 1,000 views, the next one 1,000, and next one 1,000. So maybe 1,000 people have seen that same video, they're not gonna be upset, right? And repetition is also useful. And if you look at the great educators like Gary Vee or Tony Robbins, they're repeating the same fundamentals over and over and over again. So we shouldn't be scared of saying the same thing over and over again. Or you may say, okay, the kind of video that I'm making, it's not possible for me to make 3 of those a day. But I can think of another, what would be a video that is, I can batch record, that is simple, that is short, right? And then you start thinking that way. Because ultimately what I say to everyone is, just as a generic rule of thumb, at least 1 video a day. Like that is great to shoot for. But if you're making 1 video every 3 days and it's always getting high views and it's giving you the results that you want, because let's take it a step back. We're using TikTok, Instagram, YouTube as a tool to create something in our life that is important for us. So if that tool starts controlling you because I have to make 3 videos because that's what a guru said or somebody said, if that's what Aaron said, that's what Gary said, now you are feeling stressed. But you're using this tool because you wanted to create a better life for yourself. Maybe you wanted to make more impact, wanted to make more money, more security for your family, whatever it is. It's always checking that. For example, I haven't posted, I think, for 2 weeks, but my last videos got 500,000 views. and I gained an extra 10,000 followers in the last 2 weeks. So for me, it works. And the statistics that I like to look at is how many views does my channel get on a daily basis? Because every day I'm pulling in 30,000 views because I've put out 500 videos already. So overall, I'm still getting the eyeballs. I'm still in front of a lot of people. So for me, it works. But even me, I want to transition into a newer model where I have at least one video to post every day. So I batch record something. I'm going to outsource it to an editor. I'm going to teach that style to an editor.
Awesome. So you talked a little bit about what you've been doing, how many videos you produce, the direction that you're starting to go in the future as well. Let's talk about your process a little bit, and let's talk about, we talked a bit about your experience in working on larger projects and then enjoying the limitations of the mobile side of the equation. Can you share like 2 or 3 examples of some of the most common things that you knew the process that a big studio might use or a big production might use that you translated into sort of achieving a version of it on a mobile device using your mobile device and maybe some apps or something like that? Can you share with a few examples of those?
Yeah, I'm going to give you 2 examples. One is making the footage look a bit more cinematic or a bit more aesthetically pleasing. So the first thing is the understanding of lighting. So right now I am just using a natural light, which is the window, which is on this 30-degree angle, which is something that I learned from an Oscar-winning cinematographer. Said, Aaron, as long as you've got this light to a 30-degree angle and it's big enough, it's going to always look good on you. So right now I didn't have to set up a lamp. I just sat down by the table and I rotated my laptop so that window is on this 30-degree. So it gives me the nice highlights, gives me the nice shaping. So I'm using this lighting principle to take advantage of the natural light. Because did
you have a video recently about how to properly use a ring light?
I had a ring light video that I made, I think last year, but because it's getting a lot of views, I think it's being pushed out to a lot of people and it's not necessarily being shown to you based on when I posted it. So
I believe I saw it recently and I was like, that is completely a new, you showed what position to put it and everything to make sure you're not, getting that whole like rings in the eyes, look, and of course all the proper glowing on the face and everything. So sorry, you reminded me of this, that as you were talking about the lighting.
Yes. So first thing is just understanding of light direction. So I can use the natural light wherever I am in the world, even if I'm not bringing with me any lamps or I don't want to use it. And it's just understanding how to position yourself, because using the same window with a different rotation of me and the phone, I can get much worse or much better results. So that's one thing. Second is the colors. Okay, that was the first one I started with. So first, let's just go with the window. Second is the colors. So I use an app called VSCO, VSCO, and the angle that I'm taking is it's still a phone video. It's often in my hand, but because I am making the colors look way more cinematic, my videos may stand out a bit more from the crowd than somebody else who is just using a smartphone. So I want to position myself between the smartphone, raw, nothing look and the highly polished DSLR look. So I'm between the two because I'm holding the phone in my hand, I'm conscious of the lighting, and I'm also making the colors look really nice after. So it has that unique position. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, it's a tactic that I actually learned on The Dark Knight Rises. That was one of the first movies I got to work on when I was starting out. And it's basically hanging a huge sheet of white material between the lamp and you. Now, you can have a stand with a little T-bar. You can buy these T-bar stands and hang a shower curtain, hang a bed sheet, whatever it is. And then you have it just slightly off to the side. Like right now, this 30-degree angle, that's where I position it. And you point through it any lamp. Doesn't matter what the lamp is, because then that large material becomes your soft light source. And you can use a very cheap lamp. As long as it's bright enough, you're gonna get great looking results. Now, if you don't have the T-bar stand, or if you don't wanna get one and the bed sheet, you can just get one of these round, it's called 5-in-1 reflector. I used a 120 centimeter diameter one, and all I'm doing is I put up a stand and I just hang it that hang it off there, and I place it nice and close, just out of shot, and I point a lamp through it. Depending on what lamp I have here, I normally use very cheap lamps because I want to show people that you can get expensive results with cheap equipment. So that's another limitation that I'm imposing on myself, is I could go and use and buy a lamp that is expensive and does all the tricks. But for me, it's more important that it's cheap, affordable, portable, lightweight, and anybody can get it and anybody can use it.
What do you, if you're deciding on doing a new video at a high level, can you take us through the process of saying, okay, I haven't recorded a video for a couple of weeks, like you said, you've been traveling, and you want to, pick your idea, and then you go about recording, one or even batch recording them? Or can you just at a high level give us an idea of what that process looks like?
Absolutely. So I have a Notion template that I created for tracking my ideas. So Notion allows you to add a widget to your phone. So on my phone, I've got a Notion widget, video ideas. So as soon as I've got an idea, I click on the widget, opens up my page, and I just add in the idea, and I just tag the content pillar. So it would be AI, or editing, or lighting, or content creation tips, whatever the pillar is. So I've got a database of right now maybe 40, 50 videos that I just have there sitting. When I decide which video to make, it's normally, I have one that is like burning. Like I just came back from Gary Vee's conference and I have a video with Gary Vee, and I'm like, I really want to, make that. It just makes sense. It's fresh. It just happened. It's Gary Vee. So it really makes sense that I want to make that video. So that I would go record it. But oftentimes, like for this month, I decided on 3 types of videos that I want to make. First is AI, because it's the hottest trend, hottest topic. So you're just going to inevitably get more views, whatever you're talking about, as long as you mention the word AI and somehow you're related to it. So that's one. Second is starting to introduce myself, my personality, because I want to make the transition soon towards making videos about plastic. Also, I am reaching the point of 500,000 followers, which on TikTok seem to be the upper threshold for educational videos. Above educational based accounts. The accounts that are educational and have 1 to 2 million followers, I can give you like 3, if that. It's so rare. If you want to break through there, you need to become more personality based. People need to care about you as a person, and you need to include, I say entertainment, but doesn't mean you crack jokes. But if you make a storytelling video of how you overcame a challenge in your life, that I classified as entertainment, like watching a story about someone's life, a real, raw, authentic. So I'm making a shift in that direction. And the third one that I'm making, which I haven't really made because many of my videos are tutorials, I learned this from 22 Laws of Immutable Branding. I'm sure you're familiar with that book, is to promote your category, not your business. So I want to make a bunch of videos just really getting people to wake up to the fact that you are sitting on a gold mine. You've got a smartphone in your pocket and you got free distribution. And on TikTok with 8 followers, you can get a video with 1 million views. So it's promotion of my category. So people realize the importance of it. And because my channel is very educational, inevitably people will say, oh my God, I learned so much. I know how important it is. Aaron is an authority. Look at his followers. Look at what I'm learning from him. It's more like that people will want to work with me from that case.
Now you got your idea down and you planned that out. What's next from there?
So got the ideas, and I actually follow a formula for all my scripts. So I write out my video scripts. I don't type the video script, I dictate it. So I use the microphone button on my laptop or on my phone, and I pretend that I'm starting to say out the script. So I just capture it all. Because if you write it from your head, it's going to be too formal. You're going to be too sophisticated. So you need to have those pauses, imperfections, and now so these little filler words, you don't want to cut those out. You can cut them out in the edit if it doesn't flow, but if you include those, it makes it feel more personal. So I tell all my clients, make the videos as if you were FaceTiming a friend. Like that's how the language should feel like that. You don't want to use too complex language because you scare people away. So I would write out my script. I'm following a very simple formula, which is I hook people in, then I build what I call a bridge, which is I mention people's fears, desires, or objection handling. So they know why it's important for listen. And then the third part is what I call the golden nugget, which is I give them the value, which is normally a 1 or 2 liner. That's what I'm building up to. And then I have the WTA, which is not a CTA, it's a WTA, why to act. Because CTA don't work. I always say, when you move to a new place and there's a train track next to you, and first week you cannot sleep, and week 5 you cannot even hear it anymore, and your friends come over, like, how can you live here? And you're like, what are you talking about? But the train, like, oh, I don't even hear it anymore. So follow, comment, share, subscribe doesn't work. You need to give people a reason. Pick one and give people a reason. Like, I would love to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Would you prefer A or B? Let me know below. Because now there is a reason. It doesn't have to be a grand reason. Or, for example, you give them value about marketing and you say, and if you want to know what's the best software for automating all this, then drop part 2 and I tag you in part 2. Right? Just a simple reason, something that people will have a reason to go and comment.
I love the WTA. I think you're absolutely right. There's like a CTA blindness, let alone, I think it's still hilarious that folks on YouTube, every single person has to say, leave a comment, subscribe, whatever. And it almost becomes a joke nowadays, because it's like, if you have a reason to engage with it, you're going to engage with it. Or if you have a reason to follow it or subscribe, because like, subscribe. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me to subscribe. If you focus on it, it's like the content on YouTube that is just driven a lot by that. If it was ever translated to any other long form platform in the future that didn't have commenting, unsubscribing, or anything like that, it would just seem really, really out of place. So now you've developed out your script. What's next?
I'll continue on that. I just wanted to add something to here, which is very important. People switch to the wrong mindset. They go into scarcity instead of staying in abundance. So that's a crucial, fundamental part of what I'm sharing with the people I'm trying to help, which is you stay in abundance. It's not, okay, I give you the value, now give me a subscribe, now give me a like, now give me a comment, because people feel that you are needy. Instead, the mentality is, I give you so much, and I'm making 3 more videos this month, this week, so if you don't want to miss out, you may want to hit the subscribe. Right? So it's abundance. I give you so much, I'm going to give you more, but if you don't want to miss out, hit the subscribe, right? If you don't want to miss out, drop this in the comments, and I'll tag you in part 2. So it still feels like it's giving, as opposed to, now I deserve a follow, now I deserve a comment, now I deserve a like, right? So oftentimes when I actually ask for a follow, the way I say it is, I give you value here. It's the best way to hook people into your videos. And if you want to know some Hollywood level lighting techniques, hit the follow. Because now you have a reason and you know what kind of content is coming. And you know if you follow, it's more likely that you will see it. As opposed to, I gave you value, now give me a follow because I need a follow. So stay in abundance always, and it just works so much better on the long term. Now, going back to the steps, I haven't forgotten. So decided on a video, wrote the script. Now, this is, I'm slightly changing this because recently, or many times, I'm recording the videos at home. So I would just have the script on my computer, or I now actually have 3 phones, because I bought a $50 secondhand iPhone SE pink version because nobody wanted that in the shop. $50, perfect. And I'm using that normally just to airdrop the script, so I have it here nearby. I don't have to print it out. And what I do is I glance at the script and I know, okay, roughly I'm gonna be on camera. By the way, I color code my script. So I know, I'm not gonna be on the camera for 30 seconds here because it's gonna be B-roll or a tutorial.
So you're planning the edit as you go, kind of, in a way.
Yeah, it's like, for me, it's second nature. Wanting to be a cinematographer, I already see how the video is edited. So I know I'm not gonna be on camera, so I just record the audio. I just read out the script, record the audio. And when I'm on camera, I know, like the video that I made yesterday with Gary Vee, I knew I've got 5 sentences in a total video. So I just bring up those 5 sentences, I look at it, I memorize it, and I say it out 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, I've got it, next, 3, 4, 5 times, next, 3, 4, 5 times, because there's so many cuts in a short video, you don't need to memorize the whole script. And I really don't like the aesthetics. People who are listening, not gonna see this, but if your eyes is moving left and right and you're talking like this and you feel like a little bit like you're a robot, people when they use a teleprompter, it feels very unnatural. even if your eyes are not moving, it just doesn't feel natural. And because you only have to remember 1, 2, 3 sentences at a time, it's so easy. Say that 3 times, next, say that 3 times, and in the edit, you just chop out the parts that were not great. So that's how I do it. And also, I don't know it any other way, because in a film set, you've got a script, then you've got the actor, they say it out. Like, I remember working with Johnny Depp. He was the only actor when 10 out of 10 was like perfect, but in a different way. Because normally you work with big actors and you're listening to them and like, that wasn't great. Like, oh, can we do that again? And then out of 10 takes, they would get like 3 good ones and maybe 1 is amazing. But I remember with Johnny Depp, I was watching him and every time it's a different, amazing delivery and you're just blown away. So it's so hard to deliver it in that nice way. But that's how I do it. Write the script, say it out a few times, and I know what I'm going to do in the edit. So that's my process. But something that I do with my clients, which I teach them different hook types. So there are 3 P's that I teach. There is the pre-planned hook. So you know exactly everything. You know what you're going to say in the hook. You know what you're going to say. It's a pre-planned hook. The second P is the post-recording hook. So let's say you just want to be like, I want to talk about marketing for business owners in the US, and you just go for it. And once you recorded the whole thing, then you rewatch it and think, what would be a great hook? And then you just record the hook after you've gone on this natural rant, because then some people write the script and they feel like it doesn't sound natural. So then I recommend that if you just have a few bullet points, say it out, then you record the script. Then the third type of hook is the punchline hook. You said something amazing and you start the video with that and you have a cut and then you build up to that again. Okay, so that's three things. So now we've gone from idea, deciding, writing the script, recording. Yesterday I was playing with an app called Floating Teleprompter or Teleprompter Floater. And actually I just tried it because I knew it's going to be useful for many of my clients. You're able to put your script into this app and then have that as a smaller screen float on any other apps. Because oftentimes I record my videos with a third-party app to get the best quality out of it. But there is no way to have the teleprompter on it because...
So it'll float even when you're opening up one of these other...
Any app. If you want to use Filmic Pro, you want to use the Moment app, you want to use your built-in camera app, you can just float it over the screen. So I did that yesterday, but I'm still not reading it. I'm just glancing down. Oh, what's the next sentence? Okay, cool. And then I look into the camera and I read it out. Actually, it's a good point. I don't look into the camera because the way I frame myself is similar where I'm right now. So my eyes is in the upper third of the video. And because the lens is so close to my eye, I look into my own eyes because then it feels like I'm just explaining it to another person. And as long as you frame yourself in the upper third of the video, you get away with it on vertical. If you are in the middle or down, it doesn't work. It looks like you're looking too far under the camera. So I record the video, and then depending on if I have any bad takes that I know the whole thing was bad, I just delete those off my phone. And up until 2 weeks ago, all my videos were edited on my phone. So I would just pull it into the editing app and I just edit it on my phone.
Which app are you using on your phone?
CapCut, free version of CapCut. Now recently, some of my clients they are like, look, I'm home all day, I've got my laptop, CapCut is free on the laptop. Can you make some tutorials on how to use the desktop version? So now I started using the desktop version so I can also teach that to my clients. And there are certain aspects of it that I enjoy that speeds up my process. However, I do think that for most small business owners and entrepreneurs, it's a good skill to learn both. Because if I'm traveling, I can get a video edited on the bus and on waiting at the airport. I don't have to pull up my laptop. I can just do it on my phone. And if you have both skills, depending on the situation and the kind of video you're making, you can get a lot more done. So then I edited everything done in CapCut. If I'm editing on my phone, then I use the Visco app. So I first do the colors, then I edit, which is a bit backwards from what the film industry does, because they first edit, then they do the coloring. But because the coloring in CapCut, in my opinion, is not great, Visco is way superior. I just color the videos first in Visco, then I drop it into CapCut, and it's already looking great. And then I just do the editing there. And then I save the video into a folder on my phone called Upload Ready. So I've got a database of all the videos that are ready to go, so I can easily repurpose from there in the future. And then I just upload it to TikTok, cross my fingers, drink some water, and move on.
How do you decide? Do you make any decisions about what time to post, or like how you make a decision about what the captions and such should be? Are you doing that based off of what the hook is and what you believe the payoff is meant to be for viewers?
Yeah. So there were a lot of different opinions on posting time matters or not. I say that maybe a year ago it was a bit more so that it did matter, but now with the recent changes that I've seen, I don't think it really matters. But here's what I tell to my clients. The first 2 days, if you get a really high views on a video, it's likely to be really pushed. So if you're making a video that you post on a Monday morning, Monday and Tuesday, you just want to think about if that video is going to be better enjoyed on a Saturday, Sunday, 2 first days. Because if it's a video where people should be sitting at home, chilling, right? It's a longer video, educational, step-by-step tutorial. It's likely that Saturday, Sunday, people will engage with it more than Monday, Tuesday. So Monday, Tuesday could be the shorter, funnier type of videos that is more bite-sized and also that can be enjoyed with the sound off. That's always an important test because a lot of people are watching with the sound off. So that's the only thing that I take into consideration. But I've seen so many different, like I had a video 5 days slow and then day 6 skyrockets. So then if you had the same strategy that I just explained to you, then you may be missing it. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, the time to post.
How important are captions?
So video captions, I like to go over to the search bar on TikTok and I just search that topic. And I just look at what is popping up in the search result. Then I would go over to the video view and then there's a section called others also searched for. So I look at these 2 categories of sentences and I make a list of like 4 on each. And then when I make the video description, I make sure I use all of those in the video description. And ideally the ones that seem to be like a very popular one, I use them multiple times. I'll give you an example. How to use a ring light, for example. Then I would just, when I'm ready to post on the post page, I press the microphone and I just say, if you want to know how to use a ring light, then I just made a short tutorial that shows you exactly how to use a ring light. So by the time you watch this video, at the end, you're gonna have all the tools and all the tricks you need to know how to use a ring light. So I would say that term multiple times, and I would also then include the other popularly searched terms. That's how much I do for SEO optimization. If like that's pretty much SEO. And then when it comes to hashtags, I keep it very simple. Normally 5 to 7 hashtags, and normally 2 to 3 describing the video topic, and 2 to 3 describing the kind of person I want to reach. So I would go content creators or entrepreneurs. I just describe it.
How about subtitles?
Say it again.
How important are subtitles?
When you say subtitles, you mean the captions?
Baked into the video.
It's not important anymore. It used to be important, but now TikTok is a lot more. I'm talking TikTok. I don't know about YouTube Shorts and other platforms. I haven't
because it's pretty previously at least been reported that it has an impact on discoverability and findability because there's some elements of, especially when you're utilizing the captions generated directly by TikTok, correct?
Yes, absolutely. So I've seen tests, A/B tests, when the video had baked-in captions or TikTok captions, and the algorithm picked up the 2 exactly the same way. Like if they listen to what you're saying, they analyze the text that is on the screen. But if you think about it, the way they generate their captions is they listen to what you say in the video. So whatever you say in the video, it's already being transcribed. So I would say it's more important that you have captions, whether it's TikTok captions or outside TikTok captions, so people can see what you're saying. Even if somebody convinced me that using the baked-in TikTok captions will get you more views, statistically, I would still use the outside captions because
they're more engaging.
Engaging that even if all the odds are against me, algorithmically, I know consumer behavior. they're more likely to watch a video that is engaging. So I'm going to go with that strategy.
Well, and speaking of engaging, right? Like I think hearing this, folks that have not watched your videos yet don't really understand how engaging your videos are, between, like you said, the way that you leverage the subtitles in the videos, to how you leverage the animated GIFs and such, with even just sort of yourself in there. You do an incredible job of leveraging these different tools to not just create a video that has captions and cuts between one scene and some B-roll. You're leveraging effects and shapes and all kinds of motion graphics that are all available on these mobile apps to create that much more engaging video, let alone the fact that even at the speed at which you talk, like right now you're talking to me and you're speaking clear and well, but you have a sense of energy when you're doing those videos that's also engaging, and I think obviously reinforces your personal brand and the type of energy that you want people to feel as they're watching the video. They may not be I think that adds to the entertainment factor that you were talking about, where you can just sort of teach somebody something, but that energy that you put into it is a bit infectious. When people are watching your videos, that's why I really enjoy them. There's an element to that makes you smile, even though you're watching, something about how to use a ring light or how to cut up a video or something as well. So I want to touch on just a couple last questions, for businesses to think about. Are what are the metrics that you recommend people pay attention to? Again, let's talk TikTok and anything you might think of in any of the other short form areas. But I think TikTok tends to be at the tip of everybody's tongue because of the sheer momentum that it's had. The algorithm, although it's changed over time, still has a tendency to give new creators a pretty good chance of getting discovered if you do the right thing with your content and get out there. What are some of the metrics that you think businesses should pay attention to?
It's the metrics that are outside TikTok that they can control. So how many videos are we putting out? Do we have a system in place that is like a machine that is putting out the content? It's like, have we taken off with the plane, and can we now course correct, as opposed to dialing in all the right numbers before we take off? There is so many changes that you can only make once we have taken off. If we are looking on TikTok, there are normally two metrics that I show to my clients that I want them to understand. First, in 2 seconds, in most videos, in 2 seconds, 50% of your viewers are gone. 2 seconds. If those are my videos that get 10 to 20,000 views. The videos that get 100,000 to a million, 50% are gone in 4 seconds. So what you say in the first 2 seconds and what visuals you do is crucial. So just understanding that metric, that in 2 seconds people are leaving, not because attention span is decreasing, it's because decision making is getting faster. No, right? So understanding that, and I give them a very practical, simple example. If you say, I'm going to explain to you the importance of getting your social media accounts looking professional. If you are a contractor, you lost most contractors. I had a client who was a contractor. I said, all we got to do, you're going to say the same thing, but we're going to move the word contractor and make that the first word. So he started, hey, contractors, if you want to make your blah, 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 because now people know that this video is for them. And then you tell them the problem, what the problem is, right? And then now you've got them. So what you say in the first 2 seconds is critical, and it needs to tick at least 2 of these boxes: who this is for or what the problem is. Because normally if people understand the problem, they will know it's for them. So you
they self-identify based on whether, yeah.
That's the first metric to understand. Second metric, after analyzing a ton of videos, the only thing that separates from one video that goes viral or the one that doesn't go viral, I would look at the average watch time, identical on 2 videos. I would look at the length of the video, identical on 2 videos. I would look at everything. The only metric that is substantially different, that corresponds with the views. It's the number of total time that everyone spent on that video. If you go into your analytics, you can say that this video, in total, people have spent 500 hours watching. The total number of human attention you had on that video. Yep. And the same video, same length, same percentage of completion, same percentage of everything. There, the watch time was 4,500 hours. And one video had 100,000 views, the other one with 1 million views. So if you can keep people on the platform without you, because everybody's like, I want to understand the algorithm. By the time you get a reliable answer, they probably would have changed it. But the algorithm is just making changes to keep you on the platform. The only reason they change is because, okay, let's make these videos, these dancing videos with the cool music and the cool effect, because that's getting so much attention. We can use that to keep people's attention. But if you keep repeating that same video, guess what people will start feeling? It's boring, right? Everybody's doing it. Now you need something new. So what's the new thing that's working? How can we move the levers to get that in front of the people, to keep people on the platform? So that's the only thing that every business owner should think about. Can I keep people on the platform? And when you're trying to push your product on someone, they want to leave your video, so then you're no longer in the conversation of how valuable you are. But if you become an educator about your category, which is what we talked about, right? For example, you want to sell earphones, and you don't talk about buy my, and here is why it's amazing. You just say, when you are trying to buy a new earphone, here are the 5 things you need to look out for. That's it. You're not even mentioning yours. Next thing, the health benefits of using this magnetic whatever to cancel out EMF that can come from harmful headphones. And you're just talking, you're becoming a wealth, a database of knowledge in that category. And people see how knowledgeable you are, they learn so much, then you build the trust, it's more likely they will buy from you. Now, it's very hard for a lot of businesses to accept, because that means that we cannot just make a polished commercial, pay a lot of money for a great video team, get it done, and it's gonna sell. I'm talking TikTok. The videos that sell are the ones that are organically converting, and then you push it. Then you push it with the ad. You don't polish an ad and post it. You make videos that are intelligently structured. So giving value, and then you may say, if you want to have this in a PDF form, we just made a guide, you can get it on our profile. So
well, and even to your point in regards to then promoting it, oftentimes I'm having conversations with our clients about how, again, it's one thing when you create an ad, they think of it as an ad. It's a polished commercial, it's an ad, let's get it out there, and they create a piece of content that's totally different. And they distribute it in the same channels that everybody is engaging with organic content, and they hope that it does well. And to your point, like understanding what does well organically and building it organically, like building it not as if it was an ad, but as if it was content that you were trying to build a relationship, add value, your category is properly represented there, that's mapped back to your product or service. And then when you say, okay, great, that hit organically, people already, that resonated with folks. It means people like it, it'll be engaging. And because they like it and it's engaging, it serves our needs. Let's amplify that through some paid advertising. So I usually think of any social, paid social as an amplification of content versus something separate to the content you're already distributing in that area, and that you were, paying to now have a LinkedIn ad. Well, a LinkedIn ad looks like, especially when it's, sponsored content, it looks like something that's in the standard feed for LinkedIn. And I think it's underutilized brands underutilize the aspect of creating content and then selecting they might call it a boost. I hate to use that term, but I think it's just amplifying content that works really, really well or resonates in some way organically in other places. The other concept as well is a zero-click content, which is that if you're most folks don't want to have to leave the network they're on if they're on it. If you're on TikTok and you're watching videos, you don't want to be linking out to all these other places all the time unless you feel really strongly compelled to kind of explore a little bit about, well, who's Aaron? What is he about? And he's got this thing in his bio, or this particular product I'm going to go check out and see what it's about. But for the most part, when people are on social, they tend to want to stay there to learn things. And a lot of people want to use the sort of bearing the lead and the CTA, right, versus the YTA as a way of driving people to their website to get the rest of the story or to get the punchline. And it just doesn't work anymore. It hasn't for quite some time. So I think your approach to it is really really incredible. I know that you. We got to wrap up here in a second. Your time is limited, and there were some things I wanted to ask you, about AI and stuff. But I want to.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. What was that? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I know you've been playing around a lot with that, and video is a real popular. Whoa! What was that?
My chair.
Oh, it sounded like somebody was honking a horn outside there for a second. I thought a car was going to come crashing right through the wall. But AI is initially people were looking at generative AI having this impact on images and stuff and graphics with DALL-E and everything before it's just really has exploded on the text and writing front. Video is a much harder nut to crack, but there are lots of tools that are out there. And even you, as you were talking about reading your script and paying attention to the camera and making sure that you weren't disconnecting from folks. There's tools out there just like one that will use AI to make your eyes always look like they're facing the person you're talking to, even though your eyeballs may be reading a script off to the side. Like what impact has AI been having on the work that you do, and what is it that you're most excited about, like kicking the tires and adding to your workflow that you've seen out there?
What I find most exciting is what you're able to do with Midjourney. So people who are not familiar with it, you can basically type in any text and then it would generate 4 images for you. And it's a Google sheet that I found someone super keen put together, which collected all these different styles of images and art. So you can say, make this in the style of the artist, and you insert the name of the artist, or in the style of, and you insert that type. So it creates these images. Now, how fast they were able to create outstanding images, I know we are maximum a year away from you to be able to create now videos from this. And somebody like me who's making videos with me being on camera and my passion of cleaning the oceans of plastic, I can see some very creative ways I can create very aesthetic video animations that I can use as storytelling to move people emotionally to want to take action to solve that challenge that we have around plastic. So that's one excitement I have. Second is speeding up the workflow. So using AI as different tools that you can speed up the workflow, and also how I am able to help more clients. For example, I was working with somebody who didn't want to be on camera, didn't want to talk on camera, right? So I said, are you against being on camera or talking on camera? Like, I don't want to talk on camera. Okay, great. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to record videos of you in the office, in the workplace, doing your thing, right? We're going to then get you to record 3 videos, 3 30-second videos. You're just going to talk. Doesn't matter what you talk about, you're just going to talk. Then we're going to upload that footage, the video clips, the audio clips, into a tool called 11 Labs, and we're going to clone your voice. Once we have your voice cloned, and once we have footage of you, we can create these videos of you at workplace, and anyone can write the script, and this tool would turn it into talking audio on your voice. You just have to approve it with the team. Yes, I like it, sounds great. So now you don't have to become great at talking on camera, but now you're leveraging the fact that when there is a human element, a personal element to the brand, and there is that narration or the talking, the storytelling going on, you've just gone through the roof with your chances of succeeding and making more sales without you having to become someone who's great on camera, or you having to sit down to record these videos, or to get the lighting right, or get anything right. So I love these tools that can help people who, look, I'm lucky that I'm super passionate about videography, and now it happens to be a very useful global skill for everyone, right? It used to be a useful skill if you want to work in the film industry. Now it's a useful skill for everyone. So I'm very passionate and lucky for this. I love spending 4 or 5 hours editing, because for me it's the creative process. But if somebody who owns a fitness brand, they're not going to be passionate about editing or want to do all that work. So the easier I can make the process for people, the more people I'm able to help, and the less effort you have to put in. And I can use my creativity on how we put these tools together. Because now what I just explained to you, it's not an existing tool. It's putting together existing tools to create something tailored to one person.
Yep.
So that's what I am really excited about when it comes to AI. And also the reason I became passionate about filmmaking was The Matrix. And The Matrix was so ahead of its time. And everything that they talked about in the film along these 20 years since I've seen it, the world is going in that direction. And I keep on remembering now Morpheus when he says, then we're proudly inventing AI. And then now here it is, and I'm very excited to see where it's going. And I tell everyone is think about learning how to use AI. Don't be scared of being replaced by it. What you should be scared of is being replaced by other people who learn how to use it. And it's not just with AI, with any new tool. If you have a new tool that's going to take over, be somebody who learns how to use it. And if you want to work with someone, let's say you want to work, you need email marketing, right? And you need an email marketing expert. Instead of paying just an email marketer or just paying for the email marketing AI tool, pay for an email marketer who is an expert at using AI. Because I am working right now on an AI tool, but the reason why it's going to be outstanding is because I'm coaching that AI tool like I would coach a client in an area where I'm an expert at. So I'm getting, I forgot who said this, but the current limitation of AI is our ability to ask the right question from it. So if you have let's say you go to ChatGPT and say, write me an email marketing sequence. You read it, and most people will say, this is insane, this is amazing. Show it to an expert. They will say, well, it's okay. But if the expert was giving feedback to the AI, okay, make sure you're following this sequence, make sure you're ticking these boxes, make sure this happens, then it becomes an amazing, powerful tool. And this email marketing expert can get way more done in less time or become way more effective.
Very similar to, right? You say that again?
Did that answer the question?
That answered my question. No, I agree. I think folks are AI and things related to AI has actually been around for quite some time. It's really the more consumer generative AI stuff that's people are just like, oh my gosh, because now it's available to them. And I just had this conversation with Rand Fishkin on another podcast about the level of trust that people have for what AI sort of spits out, to the point of, having somebody put out an email sequence and an email marketing sequence, and then somebody going, oh, wow, that's amazing. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it gave you something. It went from nothing to something, but that something is missing a lot of nuance. And even as you said in our whole conversation for the last hour was like, yeah, it depends on the goals of this person, and it depends on this, and it depends on here's some universal tips and truths, but there are some things depending on an individual's needs or the business's goals and needs that would need to be tweaked and changed, let alone, like you said, having somebody who's an expert and who's had to navigate through those individual use cases. What you're being provided is something, but it's not likely good. and it's fairly flat. And so exciting to hear that you're developing something. And, I think that's where AI truly, at least in this use case, truly becomes pretty extraordinary, is when there are sort of monotonous things that need to be done, and it's repetitive, but it's a focused task or a job that you can train a particular generative AI model to focus on that one task and not have all the other fluff of, well, it's great. You can talk about video, but it also knows like who won the World Series 10 years ago. It's like that doesn't matter for this particular use case. But let's get Aaron's thoughts in there, and any other information that we have that helps to refine what that's doing. And it goes from being sort of 50-50 mediocre and to being maybe 80 or 90% there, with some minor tweaks by the team, which is a really powerful thing when it comes to saving time, producing more, content. And like you said, I think that's actually really powerful to say somebody like who owns a gym or is into fitness and says like, I don't mind doing this, but I hate doing all this other stuff when it comes to producing the video. And you go, great, here's a tool that will take care of that part of it for you, so you don't have to be limited by that that level of comfort or just lack of experience to produce that stuff.
I think what's going to be transformational is when the top respected experts will launch their own tools, right? It's different than use this tool that was developed by this expert for this, let's say, email marketing. Then you've got one of the top email marketers develop this tool. It's going to do a way better job than just a new website that says, we've developed this tool, and you have no idea who is behind it. For example, you're dealing with depression. Here is this AI tool that Tony Robbins trained for a year to help you overcome depression. It's different than, oh, here is your AI assistant who can help you with depression. Very different. Who's behind it? It's so important. I think that's going to be a great way for a lot of businesses, if they are an expert in that field, is to create a tool that they have their name behind it, that it's almost like it's verified by us, this information that this AI gives.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So to wrap it up, so a couple things besides you, and I want to make sure you share in a moment all the places that folks can find you and learn more about utilizing you as well with your services and your guidance. Who is one or two creators out there that you think really do a great job at this as well? And who is maybe one or two businesses that you think those marketers out there that are listening to this can take a look at and say, I want to see how, although I think many businesses should think like a creator, it's often bridging that gap between how a creator, is building their own personal brand as a creator versus how their company needs to become a creator or get into those conversations and engaging with their audiences through the lens of a creator, but more for their own business objectives and purposes. Are there a couple creators that you think some of these businesses should take a look at that you really enjoy how they, what they're putting out there, and then maybe a couple businesses as well that are doing it well?
Yeah, so a couple of creators. I really enjoy the content of Cody Sanchez. The username is Real Cody Sanchez. And because she's got two types of videos. One is her sitting down with a microphone and talking to the camera. And the second one is her giving a talk somewhere, and it's just repurposed. So she clearly found a great editor or an editing team who is creating very engaging videos. So what I would do is go get her as an example, look at the style. I think it's a very universally appealing style that a lot of people can use, and get an editor to mimic that style for you. Now, the reason why she's getting great success, 1.2 million followers. Another example I can give is, I'm sure most people are familiar now with Alex Hormozi. The similarities between Cody and Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins and Gary Vee is they hold no information back. they don't charge you for information. And by giving out all their knowledge for free, they establish themselves as an authority in that field. And then the opportunities that come to you once you have those millions of followers, the opportunities that come in for you to make more money, to make a business deal, or to elevate your business to the next level, is where you make the money, not by teasing you with some average information and then come pay us for the real information. So that is something that I would check out. Cody Sanchez, Alex Hormozi. Some people like Alex Hormozi's video style, some don't. But the reason why Alex is so successful is because he's teaching from a place that he's done it at an exceptionally high level, and he's sharing all his wisdom. So taking these key elements, because everybody's like, oh, I want my videos to have the text like Alex Hormozi. That won't make you successful. What makes you successful is to establish yourself as an expert, and he's not trying to sell you anything. It's very transparent in his YouTube what he's actually selling. But Alex is a great example of understanding how he's using this tool. He wants to take businesses from 3 million to 30 million profit, and he wants to train as many people as possible for free to be able to get to that 3 million level. So then he can work with them and take them to 30 million, and he makes most of his money there. So the training to get you up to speed is free. And in some level, my training is I get you up to speed to get making videos, get good at it. And then you get to a point when it's like, okay, I need a bit more guidance, Aaron. Can I work with you? Or you get to a point, okay, I'm getting great videos done. It's getting me great results, making me great money, but now I'm running out of time. Do you offer services to help me out in that front? So it's really understanding who's your target audience that you're trying to reach, where are they, and how can you elevate them to the point where they will want to buy from you. Yeah, Dr. Julie Smith, I really like her content. She came to my mind. So Dr. Julie, she's a psychologist. The reason I want to bring up her content, because she's got 4.5 million followers, one of the only exceptional accounts on TikTok who gets that number of followers from educational content. But the reason, again, here is she's giving all the information away for free in a very creative way. So two things, insanely great information. And if you look at her videos, she's using metaphors. It's very entertaining to watch. So when I say to people, you need to become an entertaining educator, it doesn't mean you become a clown or you start cracking jokes. But it's entertaining, it's fun to watch. Perhaps that's a better expression. It's fun to watch. So we check out Julie's videos and see her creativity.
How about any companies? Any companies that you think that are doing a good out there?
The thing is, it rarely comes up on my feed, or when I'm searching for great companies that are doing great. What does well is if somebody from the company, or they have a face for the company, who is, it's like you're following Steve, who works at Nike, for example, and he's in the office and he's telling stories of what's happening. Here's what happened this morning. Fun story. Let me take you to the warehouse. So you feel like you've got an insider in this company and you're getting insider knowledge about what's going on. Of course, I know some businesses, like, let's not get anyone in there because it's secrets how we run that, but you can still show a lot, and that is going to build the trust. Having that human element to it.
You mean you don't want to have a logo just dancing around on some TikTok beat and, just some special effects with the logo, right? That doesn't work? Come on.
Exactly. It has to make sense. If you can, it's always like, if there's a trending thing that is going around, how can we creatively, intelligently relate it back to our brand? And I'll give you a very simple example. I had a client who made one of these duet videos. So those of you not familiar, duet video is two videos side by side on TikTok. You are reacting to an existing video. So he made this reaction video of a dog being super excited. The kids are coming home and he's just nodding and pointing at the dog. And that's the video. And I said, Steve, if that video blew up, you missed out on a ton of clients because nobody has any clue of what you're about. But if you just had a text above you saying that this is how I feel when my kids come home, thanks to affiliate marketing, I can work from home full time. Now people know it's affiliate marketing, and
it makes it relatable and all that sort of thing as well.
So it's how can you relate it back to your niche? Because what you don't want is to end up with a lot of dog lovers and you want to teach affiliate marketing. You get flooded with 30,000 dog lovers and your affiliate marketing videos come up and you're going to be skipping it. That's going to hurt your account. So it's important to get the right followers. It's more important than how many you get. Because you can get 40,000 of the wrong followers, they're not going to engage. Get less followers who really engage and realize, again, we're just coming back to the same point. It's a tool. I had a client who had a video, 1,500 views. And from that video, she doubled her yearly income. She's already financially free. She's making a ton of money with Airbnb. She doubled the income because one person reached out to her and said, I love your content. You're so knowledgeable. We've got 30 or 40 Airbnbs that needs managing. Can you please do it for us? You never know who is watching. And we forget that behind the numbers, there are humans. 200 views you got. Maybe 10 of those are your ideal clients who now want to buy from you.
Quality over quantity, right? That's awesome. Aaron, I got lots of other stuff I'd love to talk to you about sometime, and I'm going to save it for the next time. Where can people find out about you, and where would you like them to go check out, considering all the new stuff it sounds like you're working on as well?
Yes. So at this moment, I'm most active on TikTok. I do check my direct messages on Instagram. It's my name, ARONSOGI, the handle on both of these platforms. I would start on TikTok, and anything that is hot in the moment is going to be linked in to my bio, whether it's a downloadable PDF or an editing course or my mentorship program or the AI tool that comes out. So that's what I would head to first on TikTok, and then you can go from there, see what's happening right now, depending on when you're listening to this podcast, or just reach out to me, Instagram in a DM. I go through them as often as I can, and these are the best way to reach out.
I love it. I highly recommend it. Again, I've been watching Aaron, I believe, since you first started putting up videos, and enjoyed him so much that I was liking him, and probably even have a handful of them in my saved TikToks, and it just kept coming and coming and coming. And so you were one of the first folks that I was thinking of when I was like, I got to get somebody that's not in the usual bubble here. I live in a double bubble here with the Silicon Valley and sort of the whole group of marketing professionals out there that I know. And you're bringing your passion and a fresh look at this great stuff. I love how the energy you have in those videos, it's not just educational stuff, but the energy that you have in the videos make them, like I said, equally entertaining. And somebody like me who's always, I'm a bit of a technologist as well. And so to see you utilizing all these mobile apps and do it, I was actually surprised to find out that you even shoot everything still on a mobile device versus, going off and getting a DSLR and then bringing it back in, or that you don't go and bring it to your desktop and work on Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve or something like that. And maybe you do at some point, but I understand why you do it the way that you do, and I love that about what you put out there. I appreciate it, and hopefully we can get you back on as you explore some more of the AI stuff down the road. Is that cool?
Definitely. Where we're going to be 6 months from now with the AI and my excitement for AI, it's definitely going to be enough for another 90-minute conversation.
Well, we got to talk, because you talked about the Matrix and about Neo talking, about the history of man and creating AI. So we've got to talk before we all get turned into batteries, and we're powering ChatGPT ourselves with our life force, And if you're a Matrix fan, you know what that is. If you're not a Matrix fan, shame on you. You should go check that movie out. Thanks again, Aaron. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.